Welcome back to Cognitive Curves, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of psychology, uncovering the hidden truths behind how we think, feel, and interact. Today, we're exploring one of the most universal questions. How can you tell if someone is really attracted to you? Whether you're picking up subtle cues from body language or trying to decode a flirty conversation, we're here to break it all down for you with insights backed by psychology. So, if you've ever wondered, are they into me? You're in the right place.
Okay, so have you ever, really wanted to know if someone was into you but weren't sure how to tell?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a universal struggle, isn't it?
Totally. And that's what makes this whole deep dive thing so fascinating. We're digging into all this research, from an actual psychologist about those, subtle signs of attraction. It's like getting a cheat sheet for decoding those mysterious signals.
Yeah, it's interesting how, even though attraction is such a fundamental human experience, there's still so much mystery around it. And a lot of it boils down to, well, evolution and social conditioning, which I think we'll definitely get into.
Oh, for sure. But basically, instead of spending all that time wondering, are they just being nice or are they flirting?
Yeah.
This deep dive is about arming you with the knowledge to tell the difference.
Exactly.
So the article dives right into body language. And I got to say, it is wild how much our bodies reveal about what we're really feeling. Did you know that something like over half of all communication is actually nonverbal?
Really?
Uh,
Over half?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So basically, our bodies are doing a ton of talking, even when our words might be saying something completely different.
It's true. You can tell a lot about someone just by observing how they hold themselves, their facial expressions, all of that. And, with men especially, body language can be a big tell when it comes to attraction.
Okay, spill the tea. What kind of body language are we talking about here?
Well, think about it. From an evolutionary standpoint, men are often wired to project an air of, strength and capability. So you'll see a lot of what we might call presence, like taking up space, chest out kind of thing.
Like that classic puffing out the chest move I see guys doing at parties sometimes.
Exactly. It's almost like a subconscious way of saying, hey, look at me, I'm strong, I can handle things. And when attraction's involved, well, let's just say it takes on a whole new meaning.
Oh, I bet. Okay, so chest puffing, check. What else? What about eye contact? Because I feel like that's always a biggie, right?
Huge. Eye contact is like the ultimate flirtation tool. When someone holds your gaze for an extended period, especially if it's accompanied by, a soft expression, a little smile, maybe that's a pretty strong sign they're interested.
So how do you know if it's I'm interested in you, eye contact, versus, say, I'm trying to close this business deal, eye contact?
Good question. It's subtle, but when there's attraction, the eyes tend to soften, Pupils might dilate slightly, and sometimes the eyebrows even lift a bit subconsciously. It's like a subtle way of saying, I'm really paying attention to you, and I like what I see.
Whoa, okay, the eyebrow thing. I had no idea. I'm going to have to start paying more attention to that. All right, so we've covered the guys. What about us ladies? How do we tend to show attraction through body language?
Well, we tend to be a bit more, shall we say, nuanced in our approach.
Oh, you think?
Women generally use more open and inviting body language when they're attracted to someone, like uncrossing their arms, angling their body towards the person they're interested in, maybe even subtly exposing their neck or wrists.
Interesting. And it's funny because these might seem like such small gestures, but I guess subconsciously they're communicating a lot.
Exactly. It's all about sending those subtle signals of openness and, dare I say, vulnerability.
And of course, we can't forget about the classic hair touch. Seriously, anytime I'm talking to someone I find even remotely attractive, my hand seems to find its way to my hair without me even realizing it.
Oh, absolutely. Psychologists call those preening behaviors, and it's not just hair either. It could be adjusting their clothing, fiddling with jewelry, basically, anything that draws attention to themselves.
So it's less about vanity and more about that primal urge to stand out and be noticed by someone you're attracted to.
You got it. It's all happening on a subconscious level. And then there's touch. Even the most fleeting touch on the arm, the back, those accidental brushes.
Oh, yeah. Oops, did I just touch your hand? My bad.
Exactly. Those seemingly insignificant touches actually release oxytocin, also known as the bonding hormone.
Wow, so our bodies are literally working overtime to send these signals, even before we've consciously acknowledged the attraction. That's kind of wild when you think about it.
The human body is a fascinating thing.
It really is. But okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on the nonverbal front. But surely the words we use play a role too, right? I mean, we don't just communicate through subtle touches, eyebrow raises.
Of course not. Verbal cues are just as important, maybe even more so, when you learn to listen for those hidden meanings.
So how do our words, betray those deeper feelings? Like, what should we be listening for?
Well, with men, it often comes down to showcasing their, I guess you could say, competence, their confidence. It's those subtle ways of saying, hey, I'm pretty impressive,
Oh, I see.
Like take the classic light brag, for instance.
Oh, the light brag. I know exactly what you're talking
Oh,
about.
right. So it's not full-blown arrogance. It's more like subtly weaving their accomplishments or experiences into the conversation.
So instead of being like, I climbed Mount Everest last year, it's more like, yeah, I enjoy hiking. Did a pretty challenging climb a few weeks ago, actually.
Exactly. It's about piquing your interest without, being over the top. And of course, a man who is genuinely attracted will be genuinely interested in you.
So thoughtful questions, remembering things you've told them.
All good signs, all good signs. Oh, and we can't forget about humor.
Humor, yes. Okay, because personally, I'm powerless against someone who can make me laugh. What's the deal with humor and attraction?
Right. It's such a powerful tool. Well, for one thing, studies actually show that humor is often perceived as a sign of intelligence. So there's definitely like an evolutionary advantage there, back in the day.
Totally.
But it goes beyond that, humor. It disarms people. It puts them at ease. It creates a connection. It builds rapport,
It just lightens the mood, I guess.
Exactly. And honestly, it's a lot less intimidating than some other flirting tactics.
No argument there. All right, so we've talked about men, but when it comes to women, I imagine our verbal cues might be, well, a little different.
Yeah, I think so. For women, it often comes down to, I think, deepening the emotional connection,
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
So when a woman's attracted to someone, she'll often steer conversations towards more personal topics, sharing thoughts, dreams, maybe even vulnerabilities.
Oh, yeah, like testing the waters a bit, seeing if there's that deeper connection.
Exactly. It's about gauging whether the other person is, on that same wavelength, whether they can handle that level of openness.
And it's interesting. I've definitely noticed that. Like, I tend to open up more quickly when I'm into someone. It's like I subconsciously want to fast track that intimacy.
Absolutely. It's like a shortcut to building that connection. Have you ever noticed, too, how people, when they're attracted to someone, will sometimes start using the same phrases, the same tone of voice?
Oh, my God, yes. Mirroring. Is that what that is? I
Yeah.
always found that so fascinating.
It is. It's called mirroring. And it's a crazy, powerful psychological tactic that happens a lot of times unconsciously, when we're really drawn to someone.
It's like our brains are saying, look, we're on the same page.
Exactly. Exactly. By subtly, matching their body language, their tone, even their words, it creates this instant sense of rapport. Like, I get you.
It's like a secret language. Okay, and I have to ask you about laughter. Is there anything more telling than when someone laughs at your jokes, even the bad ones?
Right. Oh, genuine laughter. It's like the best. It's such a powerful indicator of attraction. And you're right. It's not about, polite chuckles. It's that unrestrained, like from the gut, I'm really enjoying this interaction, laughter.
That's the best feeling.
It is. It's the best. But, the thing is, all these cues we've been talking about, they're really just scratching the surface. To really understand the psychology of attraction, we need to go like a layer deeper.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's get deep. Okay, let's talk deeper level psychology of attraction. What's going on in our subconscious?
So for men, attraction often comes with this inherent desire to protect, to care for the person they're into.
Oh, I see.
It's like that primal protector instinct kicking in.
I could see that.
Like offering their coat on a chilly night, maybe subtly positioning themselves between you and a crowd,
Oh, so chivalrous gestures aren't dead after all. They're hardwired.
Exactly. It's not that they think you're incapable. It's more like they're subconsciously wired to ensure your well-being.
I like it. Okay, so what else? What about when guys get all like nervous and jittery around someone they like? Because that seems to contradict all that confidence we were talking about earlier.
Right. It's funny how that happens, but honestly, that nervousness, it's usually just the fear of rejection, plain and simple.
They care so much that it throws them off their game a bit.
Exactly. And honestly, sometimes those little fumbles, they can be kind of endearing.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about the guys. How does this deeper psychology play out in women?
Well, for us ladies, attraction often translates into like this increased emotional investment, more nurturing behavior.
Oh, that makes sense.
We're naturally inclined to connect, and when we're attracted to someone, those nurturing instincts, they kind of go into overdrive.
So going out of our way to be there for them, offering help and support, being available.
Exactly. It's all about showing, like, hey, I'm here for you, I'm invested.
It's like sending the message, I'm willing to put in the effort without actually saying it.
Exactly. And then there's this really interesting thing called intensification.
Intensification. Okay, I've never heard of this. Tell me more.
So basically, when a woman is attracted to someone, she might subconsciously amplify her emotional reactions.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Like laughter gets a little louder, smiles get wider, body language becomes more animated overall.
Oh, so it's like we're turning up the volume on our emotions to be more expressive, more engaging.
Exactly. And it's not about being fake or anything. It's just subconsciously highlighting those genuine feelings to, I don't know, create a more vibrant connection with the other person.
I love that. Okay, this has been so eye-opening. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of like all those little interactions we have every day.
Me too. It really makes you realize how much we miss when we're not paying attention.
Totally. It's like
Yeah.
everyone's walking around speaking this secret language of attraction, and now we have the tools to decode it.
Exactly. And the crazy part is it's all connected. Evolution, psychology, our own personal experiences, even those subconscious desires we might not even be aware of, all plays a role in how we express and interpret attraction.
So to our listener out there, the next time you find yourself wondering if that special someone is into you, remember, it's not just about the words they say. Pay attention to those nonverbal cues, those subtle shifts in behavior, even their sense of humor.
Trust your gut. And most importantly, don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
It's so true. You never know what amazing connections you might spark just by, being open to the possibilities.
Absolutely.
This has been The Deep Dive, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the mysteries of the human experience.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cognitive Curves. If you're ready to sharpen your skills in decoding human behavior, hit that subscribe button and join us for more deep dives into the mysteries of psychology.